Hello, everyone.
Alors, en ce qui me concerne, je vais vous parler un petit
I
peu
will
d'économie,
speak about economics
du
here.
marché,
The
d'abord
markets,
du marché
first of all,
amont, ce que
the
j'appelle le marché
upstream
primaire,
market, the
c'est-à-dire le
primary
marché qui se
market,
passe
the
au sein de la
market that takes
Bourgogne,
place
et
within
ensuite du
Burgundy, and
marché
after that
aval,
I'll
le
talk
marché
about the
secondaire, c'est-à-dire
downstream
les expéditions
market, which is
des vins.
about
Vous
our
savez
shipments.
qu'on
As
sort
you
d'une
know,
série
we
de
are coming
millésimes
out
un petit
of
peu
a
compliquées.
series of
Je
vintages that
rappelle
was a bit
2016,
difficult, like
2019, qui
2016,
avaient été des millésimes très
2019,
petits,
which were very
puis le
small
millésime
vintages,
historiquement
then
petit
the
de
very
2021,
small one in
qui avait entraîné une
2021,
campagne
which led to
très
a
tendue. Il y avait
very
extrêmement
tense
peu de vin
campaign with the
à
very
vendre entre
little
l'agriculture
wine
et
to
le
sell
négoce
between
sur ce marché
the wine
primaire.
growers and the
Nous avons connu ensuite la
merchants.
campagne
Then we went through
2022-2023, c'est-à-dire le millésime
2022-23
2022, un millésime
vintage
une campagne qui a été très
2023
dynamique, puisque après le déficit
turned out to be
de
very
2021,
dynamic.
tout le
After
monde
the
avait besoin de
deficit of
reconstituer les
2021,
stocks.
we had
C'est
to
ce qui s'est
replenish
passé.
our stocks. This is
Cette
what
campagne
happened
s'est
really.
achevée au mois
This
de juillet
campaign
dernier,
came to
et elle s'est
a
achevée
completion,
sur des sorties de
and
propriété
it
qui ont
came
augmenté
with
de
releases
24%.
from estates increased
Et
by
ce qu'on
24%,
appelle les transactions,
and
c'est-à-dire vraiment des ventes
transactions,
entre la viticulture
sales
et le
between
négoce,
the
qui ont augmenté
wine
de
growers and
59%.
the merchants
Alors tout ça en
increased by
comparaison
59%. All of this
avec un
in
millésime
comparison with the
2021 qui était extrêmement petit,
2021
c'est pas étonnant
vintage, which
qu'on
was so
retrouve des
tiny.
chiffres,
It's not surprising that
aussi
we
importants
find
que ça.
such significant
Ce qu'il faut
figures.
retenir de ça,
Actually, what you
c'est
should
qu'à la
take
fin de la
away from
campagne,
this is at the end of the campaign in
2022-2023,
2022-2023,
on
we're
a pu
able to
reconstituer
replenish
partiellement les
partially our
stocks. Les
stocks.
stocks sont remontés en
Stocks
Bourgogne
moved up in
de 11
Burgundy
mois, en moyenne à 14
from
mois.
11 months
C'est
on
une
average to
reconstitution
14 months. This
partielle, ça touche à la
replenishment
fois la
was partial.
viticulture,
It
qui
involves
gardait plus de
the
stocks
wine growers.
pour
They
ses
were
ventes en bouteille,
able to
et le
keep more
négoce
bottles
également,
in their
qui
estates,
est
and the
doté,
merchants
avant la campagne
with a
2023,
négociant,
avant le millésime 2023,
which before
je
the
parle, il y a
2023,
quelques mois, un négoce qui est noté également de
they
stocks plus
also
importants.
had more
Vous savez
significant
qu'en
stocks.
Bourgogne,
As you know, in
on a
Burgundy,
besoin
we need
pour faire notre
inventories,
métier, on a besoin de
stocks.
stocks,
For our
que ce
business,
soit
we need
chez les
this,
viticulteurs
whether
comme chez les
among
négociants,
wine growers
puisque
or
on a des
merchants,
produits qui
because
sont
we
des
have
produits
products
de
which
cycle long,
are about long cycles
élaborés,
and
vinifiés,
worked out.
élevés,
They are
mettre en
made,
bouteille,
they are aged, put
amenés
into
sur le
bottles,
marché,
put
des
onto the
vins à
market
maturité,
of
ça
wines
demande d'avoir
with
des stocks,
maturity. It
et on a
requires
besoin d'avoir
stocks,
ces
inventories,
stocks.
and we
On
need
a
these
pu les reconstituer
inventories. We're
partiellement,
able to partially
pas encore
replenish them, not enough
assez.
yet, I would say.
Donc la
So,
bonne nouvelle
the
de
good
l'arrivée du
news with the
2023 est tout à fait
advent of the
encourageante pour nous.
2023 vintage is quite encouraging. It will help us again replenish our stocks. We should be able to be in a position to be under normal conditions again. For this reason, the beginning of the campaign seems to be quite peaceful. They are a bit peaceful compared to what it was last year. It's not hectic like it used to be. Our volumes are there so that we can work again. So a few words now about our shipments regarding the markets. In the meantime, of course, the situation becomes tense for two reasons in the markets. First of all, our shortage of availability. We cannot sell what we don't have. We market still very much the 2021 vintage, even though the 2022 is starting with the low entry points, so that we had fewer volumes to market. And secondly, also, of course, this macroeconomic situation is unique. You all know it, whether in national markets, in the domestic market, as well in regard to exports. Taking maybe large retailers, mass merchandise, in the first 8 months of the year, Burgundy wines followed the trend of all the fast consumer products, like in the retail business, minus 3% or so. Wines with large retailers, about minus 5%. The AOC wines, which are a bit more expensive, minus 7%, and Burgundy wines, minus 12%. I'm speaking about volumes, minus 12. Why? Because these are those that are positioned at a higher rung, and they had made the biggest progress in the last 10 years in the French, among the rent retailers, minus 4.7% in regard to values. Even the Crémant in Burgundy came up with minus 5.7 in volumes, but in terms of price, they moved up a little bit. Talking about exports now, in the first 7 months, we are at minus 5.9% in volumes for the same reasons, and a rise of 4.8% in volume. We are still in some kind of inertia due to the phenomenon that we have experienced in the last 20 years or so in Burgundy, and which was the upsurge of prices and of our brands. Maybe focusing now quickly on a few of the main exporting markets, our top 5 ones: United States, the UK, Japan, which is ahead of Canada, then and Belgium. that we talk about 2 or 3 marks in the United States, minus 3.5 in volume and plus 4.9 in value. The UK, and this is quite a surprise, which is quite interesting. It involves not only the Burgundy wines, but I was speaking today yesterday with some friends in the Vallée du Rhône who see the same phenomenon. The UK only minus 1.3% in volume and plus 14% in volume. Quite a surprise for us, because everyone was saying that with the Brexit that market would collapse literally. Now we're seeing that we're continuing to progress in the United Kingdom. We see some kind of people moving in the higher makes and brands, and this is fine for us. Canada, perhaps a few words about it, minus 22.7% in volume and minus 19 in value. This figure should be seen relatively. There's some major logistical issues there. After the COVID, the logistics, the cargo had become very tense globally, which led, by the way, a large part of inflation. And Canadians, who often have monopolies, Quebec and Ontario, for example, had major stocks. They felt, hey, cargo prices are increasing, and it takes now 3 to 4 months instead of 3 or 4 weeks for shipment. So logistics in Canada is normal. So have these stocks. They have to get rid of their stocks before importing again. So the situation is maybe a one-off one. A few words now, and you all have the dossier on the Australian market, which is now our 11th market with regard to Burgundy wines, and is progressing year after year. For us, it's a very good surprise. Throughout the first part of my career, Australia, to me, was a competitor. What was very interesting, that Australian producers did an extraordinary work to educate Australian consumers, turn them into wine lovers. And at one point, they started to import also wines and become interested in Italian wines, Spanish wines, in French wines, amongst which Burgundy was. So in the dossier, you have the press dossier, there's a graph that we wanted to include, which is very interesting. This is the table, which is a change in the production of Burgundy wines over 54 years, since 1969 up to today. It is very telling. I urge you to look at it very closely. You learn so many things. We witness many things. We see, for example, from 1969 to 1982, we had major changes from one year to the next, and from 1982 to 2009, we saw a very steady growth in our production and conditions that were ideal, by the way. And then 2009 up until now, there are major ups and downs from one year to the next, and also more and more we have some. There's a standard deviation that is more and more significant. So we have effects with vintages that can be very small, like 2021, and other vintages can be like in 2023, because there we had a record that is a volume record. So we see also a change in the surface area on this graph. We see also the change in the whitening of Burgundy. We produce more and more whites, and the reds, proportionally in absolute value, also has dwindled a little bit. We see the upsurge also of the Crémant de Bourgogne, and there are a few other takeaways, and that's very interesting. There's not really a correlation, because the size of the vintage, and this is true between 2023, between the volume and the quality of the vintage, they are significant and generous. Vintages are not less tasty. So this is a change of paradigm here. Due to the warming of the climate, we will find a lot of more information in your press dossier. Now maybe let me add one thing. Les Grands Jours de Bourgogne, next March, from the 18th to the 22nd of March 2024, will be a year of Les Grands Jours de Bourgogne, where we invite for 1 full week journalists, opinion leaders, professionals to come meet us and get involved in Burgundy, from the Chablis to the Mâconnais, going through the Delaunay, Côte de Nuit, Côte de Beaune. So you're all welcome, really, during this opportunity. So this is what we wanted to share with you this morning. Of course, we are available, all of us, to answer your questions, if you have any, of course.